Hello, 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 Facebook friends and family. Welcome to Wings of Wisdom. I have with me Mr. Leroy McClure Jr. He is a friend of mine from 30 plus years ago. I met him in Dallas, Texas. I was at an extremely low period in my life, and he helped me tremendously. So I want to introduce you to my friend, Mr. Leroy McClure, who is actually an author of 3 books. And his last book that he did, recovering from trauma in his life, is Life is Good. I am better, not bitter, post stroke. So he's going to give us some ABCs and some triple A's. And I just want him to give us a brief bio. He done a lot in his past years, and even now he is doing so much. So I'm grateful to embrace him and bring him to Wings of Wisdom on Wednesdays to the virtual viewers and the listening audience. So, Mr. Leroy McClure Jr., I would love for you to speak to Virginia's virtual viewers and give them a little backdrop of your history and what you're actually doing now.
Hello, hello, hello. Again, I am Leroy McClure, and I'm glad to be here with you, Virginia. Well, my last book that you mentioned is called Life is Good, Post Stroke. I am now better, not bitter. And I'm excited about this book because it's probably the best book that I've written. I've written 2 other books. I focus on the 3 A's: attitude, academics, and athletic. This last book was about attitude. Before you uh, do great things in life, you have to get your attitude right. Well, you talk about the ABCs. Uh, in order to overcome adversity, your attitude must be right. It must be positive. We're talking about uh, when you think about life, 10% of everything, 10% of life is when things happen to you. 90% of it is how you respond to it. So you must have the right attitude of the way you respond to it. And in order for me to overcome my adversity, which was a stroke, I had to first of all think positive and recognize God is still in control. And I am still here on top of earth instead of earth on top of me. So I felt like he wasn't done with me. And then, of course, that's the A, attitude. And the B is belief. I had to believe that there's some great things were going to happen. This was just a minor setback for a major comeback. And I believe in Jesus Christ. And I believe all things work together for the good, for those who love the Lord and called according to his purpose. And then the C, you have to carry your load, your own load. If you're going to do great things, it's not going to be given to you. You have to put in the work. In the beginning, when I had a stroke, for 3 months, I couldn't walk. I had to learn how to walk again. I mean, literally, I could not walk. My left side was impaired. Um, I had difficulty with speech, and it's been 2 years, 2.5 years now. Now I have walked, taken over 4 million steps. So my left side has gotten much stronger, and I am a better person now than I was prior to my stroke. And I talk about that in my book. And again, it's called Life is Good. post-stroke. I am now better, not bitter. Now that's the A part, the academic. Now uh, I said academic. I mean attitude, academic, athletic. Academic. I have a book out there called "Why Sammy Still Can't Read." I'm very proud of that book because I went to college and you're supposed to get your degree and get your education and get your job and all of that. And I did all of that, but my life was not fulfilled. Then my brother shared with me that he finally discovered why he had difficulty in school. And he encouraged me to go back to school and get trained so I can help people like him. Now, in the 60s, my brother could not read. He was extremely smart, could draw pictures of me, could draw pictures of you. He was very creative, but reading was difficult for him. And I used to cover that up so that no one would know. Now, this was in the 60s. He's just 13 months younger than me. But in 1988, I went back to school. 89, I went back to school. So I learned how to become a language therapist, how to teach children with dyslexia or ADHD how to be successful in a school setting. And I became certified in 93. And after doing that, I decided to help other people. So I started a charter school called Focus Learning Academy. And I started out with 50 students. And then I ended up with 1,500 students in a matter of 20 years. And we have taught thousands of children that are extremely bright how to read. And the problem that we have, Virginia, is that too many of our people are in the penal system. 2 out of 3 African Americans in the prison can't read. Very bright people. And the fact that we have more African American men in prison than we do in colleges and universities. It's imperative for us to understand the first 3 years of school, you learn to read. Then you read to learn. Unfortunately, this have hurt quite a few of us because our children haven't been taught how to read. And they have to be taught according to the learning style. Different children learn differently.
So, do you think there is a major correlation between illiteracy and the penal system?
Very good question. Yes, I do. I believe there's a strong correlation, and unfortunately, uh, it is really hurting the African American community.
Wow. So, what do you actually think could be done to help resolve this problem in the educational system?
Well, I believe we must get teachers trained in the right uh, programs. For example, if you go to a doctor, uh, a regular doctor will see you, but if you have a heart issue, you have to go to a specialist, a cardiologist. And that's the way it should be when it comes to teachers. Not all teachers can teach children how to read. They must be trained in an appropriate way. And if they're not trained appropriately, they're going to push that kid to the corner and allow him to be away from the regular students that get it the regular way. When you look at 20% of the population have difficulty learning the regular way. So that's 2 out of 10. Now, if you take a group of 10 children, if some of them are left-handed, Now that percentage goes up to about 40%, 50% of the left-handers will have a difficult time with learning the regular way. Now, if that child is ambidextrous, can use both hands, now that goes up even higher.
Wow. Wow. So, as a certified academic language therapist, is there a major difference between dyslexia and illiteracy?
Well, when you're dyslexic, you have a difficulty with words, reading words, writing words, comprehending words. Um, you have difficulty with writing, which is dysgraphia. You have a difficulty with math, which is dyscalculus. So there's a lot of difficulty with things that we take for granted, and oftentimes you see it more frequently with boys, with males, because they act out. The girls are very quiet about it, and because they don't create any disturbances in the classroom, they might not be recognized until they're much older.
Wow. So, with your challenges, I tell you, with the stroke and recovering from the stroke, I know you gave me some major statistics saying 800,000, people have a stroke annually.
Yes, stroke is a fifth cause of death. Fifth, I mean, 800,000 people have a stroke annually. And out of those 800,000 of them, 160,000 of them die. And
Mhm.
out of those 800,000 of them, 200,000 of them have multiple strokes. This is not their first stroke. And there are different types of stroke. My stroke impaired me physically. I wasn't able to walk in my left side. I had to build up my left side. I'm not able to use my hand as much as I would like to. Now, some stroke impairs you cognitively, where you have difficulty with processing your thoughts, difficulty with talking, memory, short term memory, or even long term memory. Uh, Cognitively, I'm still on point. I'm just as good now as I was before the stroke. But physically, I'm still recovering.
Wow, that's amazing. It's your purpose. I know you was quoting biblical principles. Wings of wisdom is built on biblical principles. And I know in Proverbs 19:21 it say that man has these many plans. We have plans,
Yeah.
but the ultimate plan is the master plan. So there's a purpose, even in your recovery. I know you told me your wife told you you don't need to wear a watch or bring a wallet. Just focus on your recovery. And during that time, you birth your book.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's
Yes.
amazing that you were able, even during your recovery, because you said your mind is still sharp.
Yes. She made it very clear to me, Leroy, you don't have to worry about work. I got you. If it takes you 3, 4, 5 years, so be it. You just worry about getting well. Do what you need to do to get well. So the first thing you think is that your life is in shambles. I mean, you just had a crisis, and but when she tells you that, you start recognizing, Lord, I just first of all want to thank you for allowing me to be here on top of Earth instead of Earth on top of me. So then you start focusing on getting well. When am I going to get well? And then you recognize, quit focusing so much on the destination. Enjoy the journey. When I say enjoy the journey, what I mean is, since I'm here, since I was in rehab, why don't I help other people to get well? And Proverbs 11:25 says, a prosperous man, a generous man will prosper, And whoever refresh others will be refreshed. So I decided to encourage other people, speak to everybody, create a positive environment. And as I start watching people getting better, I started getting better. And next thing you know, 2.5 years later, it was time for me to leave. I didn't even want to go because I was having such a great time seeing so many other people recover.
Wow. You told me that when you were doing your recovery, you said I just wanted to learn how to be the best patient that I could be.
Yes, that was critical. When my wife made it very clear, Leroy, don't have to worry about working. You know, she took over our business, her and my daughter took over our business. And so all I needed to do was focus on me. This was the first time I've ever really focused on me because I'm always in the position where I want to serve and help other people. This was a time when I had to really think about something that I don't like to do, which is be selfish. Be selfish in getting well. So, in order for me to get well, I made sure all my therapists, my counselors, I made sure they knew that I was going to be the best patient that I could be. And I would go in at 9 o'clock and I would be there till 2 o'clock. I was doing 5 hours of therapy Monday through Friday for 2 years, 1 month, and 18 days.
Wow. And you said that you needed to kind of slow down because life was moving speedily, in your car, but from a wheelchair, it was extremely slow. And you just wanted to just take one step. And now you've taken almost 5 million steps since your trauma.
Yeah, Virginia, there comes a time when you need to slow down. Everybody's going 100 miles per hour in life, you know, and sometimes you think you're slowing down. Sometimes you think you really have surrendered all to the Lord, but you haven't. And this was the time when I was forced to slow down. And once I slowed down, I recognized I was enjoying life more because I'm able to stay at home and spend time with my wife. I've been married at the time when I had a stroke for 25 years, and I've had a pretty good marriage for 25 years. Now, the last 2.5, 3 years, it's been even better. And and I could drive. I had to learn how to drive again. And I Uber my wife all over the Metroplex. And and I could drive by myself, but I choose not to right now because I'm enjoying life. When I say I'm enjoying life, if I was driving by myself, I would be in the car gone all the time, like before my stroke. So I'm going to enjoy this time doing things with my wife as I continue to recover. And that way, uh, staying home for 2 or 3 hours watching a movie or just having Bible study, devotion with her, that is so meaningful. When I was the CEO and founder of my company, I was all over the place. I was building. But now I don't care about that anymore. You know, I just want to focus on building my family, improving my relationship with my wife and my 4 children and my 8 grandchildren. That's what life is really all about.
Yes, you've accomplished so much. Certified academic language therapist, charter school CEO, former of Focus. Always say, I love the acronym, follow one course until successful. Author of several books, and now a recovering stroke individual that you are really helping others that you can continue life post stroke. You're better and you're not bitter.
Yes, yes. Now Virginia, the goal is to share with people how to overcome adversity. And my adversity happened to have been stroke. But some people have lost jobs. Some people have had death in the family. Some people have had heart attacks. There are different types of adversity. And I have overcome an adversity, and I can share with others how they can overcome adversity.
Yes. Man has a plan, but Proverbs 19:21, the master has his plan, and that plan is the plan that always stands.
And Virginia, I forgot to share with you the third book. My third book is called The Shot Doctor. I was an outstanding basketball player in college, small college, and I taught my son how to be one of the best players in the country. In 2015, he came out of high school and he had over 100 scholarship offers. His name is King McClure. And King ended up going to Baylor University here right outside of Dallas, Texas in Waco. And now he's a ESPN sports analyst. He called college basketball games, and he's doing well. But I enjoy talking about that because it took a whole lot of work. And when King first year at Baylor, he was diagnosed with a heart disease. And so they said he would never play the game of basketball again when he was a freshman. But after going to several doctors and ended up at the Mayo Clinic, he had heart surgery and he had an ICD, an implantable cardio defibrillator, implanted next to his heart. That allowed him to play basketball again. And he played 4 years there at Baylor with kind of like a pacemaker. It's a cousin of a pacemaker, an ICD inside. He was the only player in the country to play Division I sports with an ICD inside of him. And so those are the 3 books: AAA, Attitude, Academics, and Athletics. The attitude is life is good. Post-stroke, I'm now better, not bitter. Academic is why Sammy still can't read. And Sammy just happens to be the name of my brother. I wrote the book focusing on him and how to address issues like that. And then the last one is called The Shot Doctor, Athletics.
Wow. So Virginia's virtual viewers, listening audience, you can go to Amazon.com and get any of his books, Mr. Leroy McClure. There's so much more to unpack. I have to have this gentleman back on Wings of Wisdom that stands on biblical principles. And if you are having any adversity, you can overcome. So we are here to tell you. I know my guest has another Zoom lined up right after this, so I'm not going to hold him, but we are so grateful that you were able to lean in. We are excited that you are here. I know you got golden nuggets, and continue to lean in because we will be back with part 2 with Mr. Leroy McClure Jr. His son is named King from Baylor University, that's now a sports analyst, and he has a daughter named Princess. So we have a King going and a Princess going. So I am grateful to feature my friend for over 30 years. He is so dear to not just myself, but my husband, and I am grateful for him and his family. And we wish you a wonderful Wednesday and see you back here same time on Wings of Wisdom. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any last words for Virginia's virtual viewers?
Well, I just want to make sure they recognize that they can turn adversity into victory.
I love it. I love it. Adversity into victory, coming from the airline industry. It's not about the destination, ladies and gentlemen. It's always about the journey. So enjoy the journey. And when you get to your destination, it's all about celebration. Have a wonderful day.